no disrespect to him, he played at Liberty with Hugh Freeze in a very watered down offense. He can barely complete passes at the NFL level in the 2 starts that he had, and they signed a guy off the street that outperformed him by a lot on short notice last year. So I think that's going to be the landing spot here. He'll sit behind Ryan Tannehill, and listen, like, there hasn't been a bad word from any team, any NFL insider that's met with Hendon Hooker here. And the knee recovery seems to be going good. And at the same time, Jay, like, it's not like ACL injuries of the past where, like, people's careers were really in jeopardy. Like, it's essentially you sit out a year, or if you play, you're going to have a down year, but then year 2 removed from the ACL surgeries where you start to see the performance pick back up to pre-injury status. And also, like, why would you want to roll the dice, take him in the second round, lose that 5th-year option, and then you have to essentially pay him earlier? You know what I mean? Like, if that pick hits, why not take him in the first round, late first round? You get that 5th-year option, and you have a little bit more time with them. And then let's say he doesn't pan out, you don't have to pick up the 5th year, and he goes kind of the way of Sam Darnold. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to essentially be fine as an NFL starter and see the talent that should have gotten him in the top 4, because God knows how many millions of dollars he left on the table because of that knee injury.
Yeah. And I can see a scenario right here where some of the teams like the Baltimore Ravens are sitting at 22, right? You've got the New York Giants sitting at 25 that, I get the Giants just, gave Daniel Jones an extension, but ultimately that contract is a 2-year contract. They can get out of that contract in 2 years. So if you bring him in, he sits on ice for a year and he learns. And the second year, is another year where he'll probably start midway through. What's your thoughts on maybe the New York Giants taking a flyer on Hendon Hooker? Or even the Baltimore Ravens, who need a quarterback, right? At some point, it looks like the Lamar Jackson thing is not gonna pan out.
Right. Out of the 2 teams, I kind of lean a little bit more towards Baltimore. Actually, for Baltimore, I have the let's get psycho scenario where they trade up and get Anthony Richardson in the top half of the first round. But for the Giants here, I mean, I could see it happening. Like, let's say DJ finally got paid and, he kind of turns into a pumpkin, or he doesn't live up to the contract expectations. I could kind of see that happening, especially because, Hendon Hooker has that makeup of being that guy. And I'm not taking shots at Daniel Jones. He's a team guy. He's dealt with criticism since he's been drafted and different coaching staffs and whatnot. But I mean, it's the NFL, and quarterback is a premium position. And, if you have a chance to get in the 5th-year option, I mean, look at what the Packers did. I mean, some people say that torpedoed their draft and it was the final, stick of dynamite that blew up that Aaron Rodgers bridge. But I mean, if they didn't take Jordan Love, they wouldn't have, at least in the first round, they wouldn't have that 5th-year option per se to see what happens this year. And if he pans out, they'll pick it up and go from there. I think there's nothing wrong with getting another quarterback in the building. I mean, some analysts, say you should take a quarterback every year in the first round and see what happens. But for the psycho scenario, why not have him go to the Giants and see what happens? And can you imagine the reports, or imagine like your brother being on like welfare checks if reports come out that like Hendon Hooker is outperforming Daniel Jones in practice, and he has essentially one knee? Dude, I would love that. So let's get nuts.
No,
Let's have this happen.
my brother would hardcore pivot to, we got Hendon Hooker, baby. Let's go.
You know what? You're right. Exactly.
He's the ultimate team guy.
Fair enough.
Daniel Jones too? Hendon Hooker, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.